Hello, good afternoon. What's the issue now?
Please go ahead. We can hear you.
Okay. My name is Joseph, actually the CEO of Gromon Resources Managers Limited. Thank you for all your explanation as far as this visual banking is concerned. But in a nutshell, where is all this one leading us to? Is it going to be advantageous to us, or it's like we are being put in a very tight corner now? What's going to be the essence of all these things we are going to do next year? Is it really going to promote our business, or is it going to put us in a tight corner? Because right now I'm actually confused.
Oh, okay. The banking industry is has actually adjusted their reach because of CBN. Just recently, as when CBN announced the transaction route, that's where Kudam and most of the banks started increasing their pricing. And of course, they understand that there will be a massive flow on that section. That's why they've started sending their notification these days. So, but of course, it's not something you get discouraged of. We have a like of Flutterwave. We have a like of Paystack. Of course, people have been using all this service and they've been charging 0.5 cap at 2,000 and people keep continually using it. And of course, and they are not shutting that anytime soon. Even Flutterwave and Paste, I'm very sure that on the coming year they'll also increase their pricing. But the only thing that you get to try to advise to your customer is definitely you have to share some cost with them. You cannot move all the cost to them, right? So if you are sharing a kind of cost with them, you can introduce them to the charge. For some of businesses who are saying, okay, no charge completely, we charge you on withdrawal. So it's something it's time letting them know right now. If you want to continue using virtual account service, there's a charge on it, so that the customer is aware that there will be a charge, so that they will not put all the route on you, telling you that bank if they transfer to bank, let's say the amount they will charge is 15 naira and so on. So you need to let them know the kind of service. You are not a bank, you are plugged into the bank, and bank right now they are up. They are no longer giving free source the way they were given before. So on every tools right now the bank is interested. Why we even disconnected Sterling Bank, because their own was even crazy at all. They were telling us what about 2% thereabout cap. I think cap at 150, which of course would definitely not work for us, right? So I think the only thing you just do for yourself, don't be discouraged. There will be a massive change in the coming year, and there will also be a massive progress, right? Everybody will increase their pricing. That's true. Even bank itself will increase their pricing, right? But the main thing, you have to build an infrastructure that will also benefit your customer. If you want to split 70% on deposit, that's the idea. You can say, okay, if it is 1%, you can say, okay, I want to take 0.5% on each deposit, and on withdrawal, you can decide to increase it. You can even decide to do 15 naira flat, because right now, as it stand right now, because we are using Kuda for transfer. If you look at the screen down, okay, I think I just switched. Kuda is introducing 20 naira. No longer 15 naira they were charging us. Then we were charging 20. Now they introduced 20 naira flat. But of course, we won't get discouraged on that regard. It's something we just keep doing. The other thing that we can keep talking to ourselves is, let's God have anyone to get their operating license. I think once you have your CBN license, you have a full control on what you can do with your license. Of course, if you even decide to even make it free of charge, you can do. But for now, you have to advise the specific customers. You must not open virtual account for everyone. This does not affect cash deposit. So for set of customer who give you cash, that's fine. And for much customer who persist that they must transfer, some of them that cannot bear the charge, I would recommend you also to have an account number where they can make the payment into your own commercial bank while you credit them, right? So hope that answer your question, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. To some to some extent, the we are still paying charges for using your platform. I don't know whether you are completely going to kind of move us to the bank that we choose to work with, or whether you are still going to see render some services to us, whereby we'll also be paying you on a monthly basis. That is the aspect I want you to talk about.
Okay,
And
no, no.
again, and again, for we to directly work with those banks, whether there is going to be some a kind of registration that will ask us to pass through, which might be very difficult for us to get things like that. Maybe registering as a financial house, or things like that, getting those presenting some certificate which we might not be able to get. A lot of things that are going to be involved. These are our fears.
Okay, I think you shouldn't have any concern with that. As long as that the recommendation is coming from wired banking, all our bank partners, you have access to them automatically. So on documentation, that shouldn't be, as long as you've passed through wired banking KYC successfully, right? So you should be able to pass uh, any bank documentation for now, right? So the only thing that I think you may likely need more is a reference. You may likely just need two people that will reference the organization. I think that's all. But the same KYC you have in wired banking, same can still drive with our partner banks. Hope that answer your question. And also on the coming year, please understand our operations still remain the same. You can still use wired banking as your processor, but the only thing now that we are creating options for, it's for you to be plugged into the bank directly, right? So mostly what we are doing, we are, instead of we charging you the 0.5%, it's no longer us anymore, right? It's now between you and the bank. Where bank will not be in the middle anymore to mitigate the charge, so that if there's any discount in the bank, you enjoy your discount. If there's also increment in the bank, you enjoy your increment. But so only like wire banking, we cannot just wake up and start increasing our pricing in as much as the banks or whatever service provider we are using increase their prices. It's not something we want to do. But of course, our service still remain. We are not shutting down any of our virtual account service. We are not shutting it down. Mm.
Okay. Thank you very much. I will still want you to talk more on the newly introduced POS. Is it still going to go through the same process of liaising with the bank, or you are going to fully be responsible for this newly introduced POS machine?
Okay, so on the coming year right now, also we're also looking for operation. We've spoken to our vendor and they have agreed, right? So you can plug into the vendor directly, right? So don't worry about the documentation. The same documentation you have in wired banking, the same will fly. You get registered with the vendor directly. So every payment will be made, any collection rather will be made to your account with them, right?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. God bless you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so
Good
let's have other
evening.
people with their questions. Then
Yeah,
we'll drive into the next phase. Okay, Major, are
good
you
evening,
ready now?
everyone. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay. Thank you so much for the explanation and at least briefing us of what we should expect the coming year. My name is Godwin Adingi. I am the MD of COFEX Vault. Now, I would start from the issue of the POS. I remember chatting with you, one of you directly, or rather, the brochure or write up you sent to me on the POS. Um, if I still remember very well, that the POSs, until we have a number up to 20, they will still be bearing a wired bank. I feel that also should be looked into. Like, you provide services for us, but when we are marketing out there, the customers is us that they know. So I feel that restriction should be looked into carefully. Even if it is one POS we have that we have registered, let it start going on our name. We can only keep expanding. But putting us in a mood that we must have 20 POS before they start bearing our names, I think that is also very discouraging. So that is one. Secondly, I'll just itemize a few things. I know I've been discussing with some of you, the officials, on this. On our app, we have a 20 2K, I mean 2K that keep flying up as advert, that place can also be removed so that it can allow us trend our little flyers. I mean the organization flyers and all of that. But I'm happy in your earlier presentation, you did say that you will want to hide wired banking more and expose the businesses to that. So that also should also be looked into. So for me, I think these are some areas of concern.
Okay.
Concerning also our POSs also, because POSs seems to be a strong marketing tool for us. Thank God it was introduced. It seems to be a strong marketing tool for us. So, um, yes, I understand that we are still trying to get vendors that will help us in the issue of the POS. But I think prices vary for POSs. The last time I discussed with one of you, I think the prices was 34,000 for POSs. I know they are all upgrades. But if you look at the market now, we have these POSs spread all over with even lesser prices.
Okay.
And I
Let
don't
me.
want us to go into the issue of we'll be going to look for a vendor somewhere to get a code and bring in, which may be compliant. The POS version may be compliant to our software or not. Where banking should, as a father, go forward and broker some of those deals. We have better deals out there. But now the concern will be looking at, if I bring this one out, will it be compliance with this or will it be rejected? All those funny things. So I think
Okay.
we should also look. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right, Mr. Godwin. Thank you very much for your input. Okay. So if you heard what I said, in the coming year, you will no longer work with us directly on the POS, rather our vendor. Please be advised that the minimum that was set is not wired banking that set it, but rather the vendor. We don't produce or have license for POS. But what we are doing, we are using PPS partners. So this simply means right now we have the ability to issue right to our own partners, but of course relying on a third party license. So if they said the minimum that they can customize is 20, but I think hence on the coming year we'll be introducing you to them directly. It's something you can open a consign to them. Said, okay, I want to five or I want to one. Is it possible? Hence, the customization is not done in wired banking. It's being done by them. The only thing we do in wired banking is we plug it in to your account or into your customer's account so that every payment collected we reflect on the customer's account. That's just the basic thing we are doing today, right? So talking on the flash or the slide on the mobile app, of course, in the coming year, just like I said, we are heading more of wired banking. You have an option. I think it should be ready by next week. Also, it's already on our roadmap. You'll be able to upload your slide, give your graphics designer design whatever logo you want to design or whatever flyer rather you want to design to advertise your products and upload from your wire banking dashboard. Same will be displayed for your customers for them to be able to see. As it stands right now, that designs are not inside the app. So this simply makes it possible that each time you change it on your wire banking dashboard, it will automatically reflect on your app automatically. We already have that in our roadmap. Please let's have someone else have this question.
Hello.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear. Please go ahead.
Okay. My name is Olayinka Abdul Ghani. I'm the CEO Ariwa Life. All right. Yeah. My first question is on the card, the debit card. Please. It's very difficult. You can see because it's very difficult for us now to be crediting the debit card or after. I think it should be linked direct to the account. You understand? So by the time you issue the card and you link it up to the customer's account, so let the debit card should debit the customer direct, not we now transferring fund into the card. You know, because the way we are planning in our place with something that we're looking, we have the network. It's just because of all this issue we're trying to resolve and all that that is even limiting how far we could go. And this issue of, I think I could remember I discussed this issue. Thank God somebody raised it, and you're already working on it. So because I've been having this, a lot of people saying this is Ariwa Light here. It is you we know. It is you we're seeing. They don't really know wired banking. So when they see anytime wired banking popped up, it gives them a concern. And a lot of my clients were very worried about that. It is you we know. We don't know these people and we want to do business with you. And thank God, although what is his name, GT has even solved that problem. I would even think there's not even point Yield African come. Let the customer's name just come up and fine. And please also I want to know what does it. You're doing a very wonderful job, which I commend you. But at the same time, what will it take for us to have license? Because someone like Ariwa Light, we're looking in future in nearest in as fast as possible. Customers should be able to just search for Ariwa Light and they see because it raises a lot of concern by the time I'm telling them I'm opening Wema for you, I'm opening GT for you. You know, a lot of questions start coming up. Why? I have this GT account before, I have this account, so and I don't want to do with this commercial bank. I want to deal with you people and all that. So this give room that we should start looking of having our own names also when they just search. And a lot of people are even confused because anytime they want to search, they want to send money, they will be searching for Ariwa Life. Then we start receiving calls. I'll say no, I send you a bank, search for that bank, you will see your name coming. So at the same time, I think we keep doing this for 2-3 customers. We still call, he didn't see Ariwa Light. I say no, it's Wema you're going to search for or pro videos or stuff like this. So please, on that, I want you to share more light and let's see what we can do as fast as possible. And in terms of the USSD, I could remember you gave you advice that there is no. So how can we have a USSD that we can fly? Because customers need to know your USSD because they want to be able to transfer and send money. That's why I'm not even talking about the internal version because I know it will not fly here because a lot of people want to receive money. That's why they are having an account. They want to receive money and at the same time they want to send money. So I'm just growing the two to the level that okay, if we have enough customers, they will take the option of them using the wallet because of all this cost. So I will let them realize that these are the costs if you're using this, but these are the costs. But if you don't have enough customers that have this, number. So until you have enough customer now, most of them will say, okay, since this person I'm sending money to has a Ariwa Light, and this confusion now that I explained earlier on comes now because people want to send money direct to Ariwa Light, and so please, can you shed more light on this? And so that I just wanted to touch this small so that other people too will contribute, and if there's still chance, I will bring up all other ones. But these are the major concerns I want us to please, if you can talk about them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Please. Okay. On the ATM card, please understand that we have two type of card. We have the direct card and also the pre-fund, right? What we currently offer right now is the pre-fund. To offer the direct card, we already started the operations with Providus Bank, and we have a concern that was raised, which of course we understand some set of businesses will not be able to resolve that. And what's that concern? For you to have a direct card that works similar to the bank card, you need to connect to InterSwitch. And as it stands right now, InterSwitch charge 2.5 million because you need to have an account with InterSwitch where you fund. So the fund is not on wired banking where you fund, right? So each time there is a call, InterSwitch will release the money. They will just confirm from wired banking, does this customer has money from in wired banking, in his account in wired banking? If we say yes, he has money, they will tell, okay, debit the customer. Once we debit the customer, then they will go ahead and dispense the money. And this happens within seconds. And some set of businesses cannot actually afford the 2.5. And we are trying our possible best to see if we can pay the 2.5 for only one account to route it across all customers. But unfortunately, that did not work for us, right? But we started another partnership with Globus Bank, which I think they said the infrastructure of what we are trying to do is very much possible for them to achieve in their bank. But while we are actually talking about that, there was a dollar increasement and disruption. So because of that, card increased from 650 that we are getting in from vendor, because the idea of card is you pay the manufacturer 650 for each card, then ship it to the bank. The manufacturer is different from the bank, right? It's Verve that is manufacturing the card. So from when Verve is done, then you ship it to the bank. Then bank is the one responsible of writing the customer's name and packaging it. For some of you, because I understand some persons are saying they want to they want to be doing instant card. To do instant card, most cases you need to have the device, and we're also trying to see how much is the device. The manufacturer said is 1.2, which of course I know some set of business will not be able to take 1.2 to buy just machine to be start printing customer's name and be linking it up, because it's not just printing the customer's name, it's linking it at the same time, connecting it to interswitch and generating the beam number that will also work in wired banking application. So it's just because of the price, not because we don't know what to do. But of course we understand some set of businesses that can afford it. It's just for us to share the procedure with them. The payment are not being made to us. The payment are made to interswitch. The only thing we do, we already have all the contact, is to share mail, attach it on the mail, you make payment to them, we start the integration process. So that is it on the ATM card routing, right? So on talking about the USSD code, we have various options, of course, which we have said earlier on, also displayed on our website. We have the shared, we have the dedicated, we have the share string, which of course is what is in the wired banking dashboard today. And your customers can use this service. But of course, if you want a dedicated code that is meant for you alone, it's something you engage us, and we do that for you. We get across to our network providers, they activate the code for you. But understand the fee still remains the same, right? That's it on that regard. We've first spent our time. Okay, so let's have other questions. If I didn't hit any of the question, please feel free to reach out to us after this section, or if we still have time, let's see if we
Please,
can answer
please,
4 more questions.
sorry. I just
Hello,
want to please,
hello,
please, sorry, hello,
hello.
hello, please,
Yes, please.
please. I think it is okay. You let's have everything. Don't say it's not everyone that cannot afford. We're hard for business, and we know what you're doing. Please, all this, me, I will, I would like, I would prefer to have to even make instant, because we're having a lot of requests. Like I we discovered,
Okay.
we said instant. We want to have our instant card, and if there is a fee for us, so it's just for us to let you know that if you want to stay like this, oh, this is what it takes. But if you want to take it higher, this is it and all that. It's fine. I like the way you are even opening your business, and you are trying to see how you can connect us to them. But you still need to guide us. You understand? And you still need to
Okay.
help us do more research to get the best. If you advise us now to pull out from here that you've seen another person, we'll follow you, because you brought us to this level. And we believe in what you're doing. That's why we're still with you up to this level. So, and we believe you still need to continue looking out for us, because we are out there now doing the marketing. We leave the technology area. Not that I cannot stand up tomorrow that I want to go and build all this thing. No, but you are doing your part. Then let us focus on the market with the people. But one thing I want you to always remember is that these people, they have something they can compare. If we're not giving them if we're not giving them something close to what they have, it is difficult to market.
Okay. Okay. So it's fine. I understand your
But
concern
at least we might not
perfectly.
really give them 100% what is in commercial bank, but we can give them something closer. We're good to go. You understand? So you should secure all those things. See how you negotiate more better deal for us, and key us there. We're ready to go. Then let us be in the market. It's win-win. If I have 100,000 customers today, they are also your customers. So please always see that this is a win-win thing. You understand? But know that we are receiving the heat because they are coming to us direct. If there anything goes wrong, we are the first person they meet before nobody even knows you. So please, we want you to get our back and see how you could be putting all those things together. We are working inside the sun. You are doing your own work inside the AC, which is perfect. So you should also consider all these ones, please.
Oh,
Now
okay.
I'm
Okay.
just marketing to open account for like 3 4 people, and they're asking me they need ATM, they need all those things. They want you to operate like bank. That's what black man wants. because they will tell her, if I can go to bank and give me ATM, why do I need to wait for your own for 1 month? It's like you're not ready for business.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your input. I think we'll make this
Hello,
very
Mr.
clear
Emmanuel. Can I ask my own
on
question, please?
Hello,
okay.
can
Hold on. Let me
wow.
just answer this. Sorry, please, so that you go ahead.
Sorry, where on your package there is something I noticed that you should have on. That should be BVN registration.
Okay. Thank you.
If you
We'll
can
come to
include that
that.
in your package.
Okay, we'll come to that right now.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
So basically, Ariwa Port. So thank you for your input. So basically, I think I omitted the license part. It's two things that you can do, but it's one that they do mostly. One is to approach CBN and register new bank, which of course a lot of people don't do it anymore. What people do today is they get a microfinance bank, they open a partnership with them, give them a certain amount of money, right? They share their license with you, right? So you can now use that. So a similar thing that Money Point used today. So you can see that it was previously ruleless. It's partnership. I know everybody in Money Point. I know all the way that they start. We are very close, right? So they actually started with partnership. From partnership, of course, the business boom, and they were able to settle, pay off the remaining money. Now they've changed the name to Money Point Microfinance Bank. So the same thing applies to you today. We have a lot of microfinance banks that are dying. You can raise more money. A lot of them want to sell it. I know they'll say they want to sell a 50 million thereabout, but I'm sure if you take good reasonable amount of money and give to the MD and the management, they're able to sign up an MOU that can cover you and your operation. Then you can now use their license to operate. Just like you see the rollers band that I reflect before, they were not even listed in names. It's when Monify came in, which is the same money point. It's the same money point that is still Monify. So when they came in, that is when they now started doing the work, right? So it's possible you get someone, a microfinance bank that is dying or that have died, give them a certain amount of money, start a partnership with them, trying to convince them that you also revive them as you are using them at the long run. And if they say persist that they want to sell it, you can discuss pricing with them, and that is it on that regard. So talking on the USSD code, we've actually started talking with G Gate. One of the GK Gate feature which we love so much, but of course the pricing we made very clear to our merchant. Hence, anyway, since the integration is directly, so you have to open an account with them. So this simply means every customer will have a dedicated USSD code. So whichever bank that they are using, they don't even need to have account number. They just dial it from their own commercial bank. It will debit their commercial bank and credit their account in wired banking. Just a USSD code. Every customer will have a unique USSD code, which of course they can use to accept payment. We've actually started that working at that partnership already. We are signing up off the document, which of course is part of the things that will be launching out in the coming year. Okay, please, Bello, ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead, Isabello.
Thank you. I said one of the questions I would like to ask is about BVN registration. Because I
Okay,
guess
so yeah, so the BVN registration actually have a kit. We actually had the kit 219, right? And we're actually trying to start distributing it before able to meet up, because we have a target that will promise that will promise names that we're able to get. But of course, people were not actually raising concern or need for it. So NIMS had to retrieve all the devices. If not so, it was released to us earlier on, but it was retrieved. So likewise, our accounts and the APIs was disabled. But of course, in the coming year, something we can rewrite back to them to see if they can release some kits to us. And once they do, of course, it's something we'll share with you. And if not possible, it's something we can also link you up to the responsible team in the names, which you can apply directly from them. But of course, I think politics have entered it recently. I understand some set of people actually selling off the kit instead of giving it out, just like instructed by the law. But of course, I think most of them are selling it out. But of course, we'll try our shot in the coming year. If not possible, if they persist that they want to sell, we have no option but rather to relate the pricing to you. And if that work for you, you can go ahead, pay the responsible person the amount, and you are good on that regard. Okay, thank you. Let's have other
Sorry,
people with their
one
question.
more question, please. I'm very sorry about that. I'm sorry to
Okay.
interrupt you,
Uh,
but based on based on the target that you said you were given,
Yes.
based on the target you said you were given, I
Mm.
guess with the work with the teams you are having here in these meetings and with me, I'm very sure we are all good to go. The target could be
Okay, so
met
so the
if we
idea
work hand in
is,
hand.
okay, the idea of them
And one more thing,
giving you that
one more thing.
terminal.
Sorry,
Okay.
1 minute, please. And about the marketing, about marketing wired banking. I mean to say, there was a discussion in the group during a time whereby you said we can make referrals and introduce to more people.
Yes. Okay. So on that still stand, if you want to become our partner, we've actually built an infrastructure for it today. It's not just for you to just refer them and go. We've built an infrastructure today, which of course we're able to open for you an aggregator account. You have your dashboard. So all you just need to do, once you sign off the document and agree to our terms and the commission split, you sign off the document, we'll get the account open for you. You just register any organization. As long as they continue using the software, you have your commission that will be credited to you outside the first 50% of the setup fee, which will be credited to you instantly. So talking on the device, it has a limit of, it's not something I can advise to right now. Just like I said, it's something I will write to the commission to see if it's still available or if they now charge a fee to get the terminals or the devices. So of course, if it is open, it's something we were able to share. But in the years back, it was actually given to us free of charge, but of course with condition to meet up with these targets. Hence, we are not unable to meet up. It was retrieved from us because a lot of we do not have sufficient persons who needed that service as at the time which we collected those devices. Please, let's have other people questions. We've actually exceeded our time. I know a lot of people have engagement, so that we move to the next section and get this meeting closed. Okay, Mr.
Hello.
Samuel, let's have you. Then after you, then we'll have Mr. Samuel. Then we'll have uh Net.
Hello.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah. Good evening. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm Mr. Samuel Imarodi, MD, Major and Special Finance. I'm really more concerned of two things. One, income and expense. That's a profit and loss. Because any organization that you are running, most of us, we are running as a microfinance purely. I think I opened my microfinance year 2020. So I have used this. This is the third software I'm using. I use GoSwing. I use Load Disk. I can tell you categorically this is one of the best which I have used. That is why I still creep to this. Please, you should do for a way to make a provision for we to know the profit we are making and the loss so that we can be able to monitor and manage the affairs of the office.
I'm not
That's
hearing no.
hello.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Major.
And
Okay. So
secondly, sorry. Secondly, on the issue of card, there should be a way if we form card and the person is able to withdraw or we form card to be able to provide response if there is any network or any issue with that person. Just like
okay.
there is a
Uh,
hello.
okay.
Okay.
Thank you. We're actually talking to the bank currently, which to release with some set of APIs, which of course they promised us to get it ready before the coming year. So of course, if some of those APIs are ready, some of the concerns on the card funding and fail will be resolved. And also, we're actually trying to get the APIs for us to be able to reverse transaction of card, which of course they've not actually given to us. They rather request that we send our request to the bank directly. But most of all, what we are doing today is, even if transaction fail, if the bank are delaying, we just have to settle you and follow up with the bank to refund us back. But of course, be
Yeah.
rest assured that hence the bank have promised to work around that for us. Is something we will. It's something we will launch even in the coming year.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Aspect of and loss, help us with
Okay,
is
okay,
very
yeah. So on the profit and loss reports, it's something we must do, right? So if you actually look at the infrastructure of wire banking, like, it's actually gradually changing. The major reason why you're actually seeing some of the changes because of we are positioning to add profit and loss. Of course, you can see in the weeks back we added some sets of reporting, which of course it's something we must add on the profit and loss. Not just profit and loss. We have about 10 reporting that we are adding. But of course, we need to position all the tools to be able to provide us with the accurate value for us to be able to have it. Because why it was delaying before, because whatever you are doing, you have to calculate profit and loss. And what is the before you do profit and you have to check your profit minus your expenditure. So that's why you see we are actually working hard, and we were able to add up the expenditure management. Though there's modification that's ongoing on it to give you permission to either accept or reject expenses. So once that feature is being added, of course, expensive other income balance sheet and their kind will be added. So it's something already on our roadmap. You shouldn't be worried about that. That one is a certainty. It's something that we must do. But of course, we are putting up all the foundation to make the value accurate. Thank you. All right, let's have other people. I know I have about 8 people that have raised hand, and we have limited time. So please, I think we can have 2 people at the same time. Let's 2 people ask their question at the same time. And if you've asked, if you've answered asked question already, please just take off your hand down so that other people can ask their question.
Yeah.
Let's hear from you.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, my name is Gabriel Olainka. I'm the CEO of Taraba Business Hub. Let me commend you and your team for a fantastic work you are doing. Uh, my own is not a question. I understand virtually all the things you have raised and all the things, but I the years, some of these things need to be documented so that we won't just enter the new year blindly. Let's know charges that have changed because based on your operation, you have given us a lot of tools be able to charge our customer for things that have changed. So if there could be a document to highlight some of these changes, particularly as it is an operation in terms of so that we can look at some of those things and also help us to plan how because next year provides a lot of opportunity for us looking at what the central bank is doing this maximum of 100,000 per week for us that operate banking and all that. This is going to provide a massive opportunity for us, just for us to be able to look at it and be able to tap into it. So if we have clear understanding, I as a person, I've worked in the banking sector for the last 20 years now, and I have tried to look at the opportunity that this next year offer us. If we have it, it will help us to plan as an organization, and not just me and all of us, so that we'll be able to have a clear direction when it comes to the issue of
Okay.
for
Oh,
us to take advantage of what's happening. The issue of this ATM must be clearly stated and how much can we get it. You know, the issue of the POS,
issue of agency banking, because these are the things that will really help us this next year. So what I'm canvassing for is that have maybe a document, something that highlight these things. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We've actually started updating this even on our website today, but of course we'll make the document available, and same will be shared in the group. Okay. Let's
Okay,
have
thank
three
you.
questions. We'll just take three questions, then we'll take three questions, then we'll just take your input, what you are expecting in the coming year, and that will be all for this meeting. We'll take three. Yeah, please mute your mic. Please mute your mic. Okay, we'll just take three more reviews. Then of course we'll move to the next phase. What do you expect? What do you want to see in wire banking light? That's just the basic thing after these three people. Okay, so let's have net tools Nigeria Limited. Please, let's have you. Mr. Godwin, we've answered your question. Then you can just take your hand down. Okay, sir. Let's have your question. After you will take two people and we are good.
Can I speak?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay, my question is even though I want to really commend what you guys have been doing, and then the only challenge I think is sometimes, like the last speaker spoke about documentations and wherein some of the processes or some of the things you have said can have it on paper. Like I wish this meeting was recorded because I came in a little bit late. I joined the meeting a little bit late. So I didn't really get to know exactly much of the things that have been said. But if we can have something after now that states, in fact, if it's a minutes of a meeting or that highlights everything that has been discussed, so those who were not able to be part of the meeting at the beginning can definitely move up to speed and also join the others. Now, my question is regards, I believe, now coming for the next year, for some of us who we have been having some series of issues migrating bits from the WBA to the WBL. I mean the app. Most of us who have been using the WBA to the app, and some of the challenges we've had. So my question is, as regards the USSD banking one and the CBN regulations that has been up, that just came out at the moment. For an example, I'm a microfinance. I have people who go out to my DMOs who move to the market to collect cash every now and then. So I'm thinking if there are possible ways at which first the ATM can come into be, secondly how we can be able to galvanize and ensure that we are able to have the visions that allows us key into these CBN regulations and then make profit out of it. Okay, so my appeal is an appeal, which is, can we have something that I believe that some of the things I wanted to ask might have been asked before now, which includes the ATM cards and how much it is supposed to, how much it is, because some of my customers want it, and then the USSD code banking and online banking, and then also some of my customers who are talking about I have people who want to have the the app on Apple Play Store, okay, wherein some of them who are using Android, Apple iPhone can be able to download our app and then be able to also utilize them. So these are, and when all of these things can be, what are the roadmaps, what are the milestones that have been set up, okay, from now to this time, timelines being set up for some of those things.
Okay,
That's it.
thank you for your questions. So talking about the ATM card, this has been addressed earlier on, and the limitation on why it was not presented. But of course, on the coming year, we'll be dropping a document that contain each value. If you want to issue this set of cards, these are the expected or the recommended amount that you are expected to spend at the wrong run if you are introducing this and if you are introducing this same thing. So of course we'll be dropping documents on that regard. On the USSD, we've actually created a room today for you to be able to have your customized one that is just for your operation just alone, right? Then on the on the application which you talked about, which is for iOS, of course, it's something that we are working closely. Just because a lot of bulk of work, that's why it has not been launched. But of course, in the coming year, it's something we want to launch. I think hopefully before February, it's something we want to launch, which is low wallets on iOS. It's already there. It's there already, just for us to launch it. Then for set of business who are also interested in the iOS aspect of it, we've actually created an opportunity for them to pay and for us to customize it and of course upload. But also bear in mind that iOS have a yearly renewal fee, unlike Android. So of course, for set of business who do not mind paying this, it's not a problem for us at all. Just for you to have it. But of course, at the long run, we are in 90% on our web application. So for some businesses who do not want to go for the iOS, also our web application is 90%. So it also gives you opportunity right now to point your own URL, your website domain name to wired banking. So you don't need to give us the domain name. We'll only tell you what to do in the coming year, and your customer wired banking will be loaded on your website, and your customer can carry out their operation irrespective. And every display that is in there will be your operating name and of course your logo, not wired banking. So like I said earlier on, we'll be hiding more of wired banking, more of it in the coming year to allow you showcase your product and your name more. Okay, so we'll be taking two more questions. Then that will be all for this section. Okay, so please go ahead. Answer your question. Good testimony. I'll be taking from good testimony. Then we'll be taking from Netdos Nigeria Limited. So that should be the two that we'll be taking now. Then we'll move to the next section where our co will be addressing some cases. Goodness, please unmute yourself. Let's hear your voice. Nedos, please, if you are there, also unmute yourself. We only need to take two more, and we are good.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Please, my name is Umar. I'm representing Good Testimony. Please, in all this conversation, discussion, new ideas, new development, I have not actually heard about anything about the management. If you want to bring out your management account, when you are newly
We hardly can hear you. Okay, I think you're having network disruption. Let's have another person question while he retrieve his network.
you always have the manual part, you also have the system part. You see, people that are sponsoring the business, they always want to believe the part of report that comes directly from the software. If, for example, you are bringing out an income statement, that is a statement of profit and loss account from the system, and you are having the opportunity to post your asset and liability so that you bring out your balance sheet, they will have the trust. We are making profit. If you give recommendation or suggestion, they'll always be looking at that direction. But when it is like a manual thing, so please, on that regard, how are we going to do in the coming year? Are we going to expect something from that aspect, from that area, where you can at a click of something, a click of button, you can have your position of balance sheet, you can have your position of P&L.
Okay, I think you were you were late. So we've actually addressed this issue. Balance sheet and other reporting. We have about 10 reports that will be added in Wired Bank in the coming year.
Okay.
Yeah, so all those things, something we must do. But of course, there are some primary things that we need to add first before balance sheet.
Okay.
You cannot just start adding balance sheet while you have not created room of the value that will be populated in the balance sheet. Just like
Exactly.
expenses management, you need to have your expenses minus your profit to be able to give you your profit and loss. So of course
Okay.
yeah, that's why you see we've added all this in place, so that when we are adding the reporting, you will not have difficulties navigating. So of course, if you want to see your total expenses, something you just hit on it, and you have all your expenses. If you want to see all your profit, you hit on it, you see all that. So it's something already on our roadmap.
Please, another thing, as we are having this plan, sorry for
Why are we having
carry, please,
echo?
hello.
You are having echo. Echo. Why is it like that?
Okay, please mute yourself if you are.
Hello.
Go ahead, please ask your question.
Hello, please. On that regards, because you see in normal banking software, sorry for carrying us back. Oh, I'm very sorry. You see in normal banking software, when you want to do a particular person, it is at one point you debit something, you credit something, so that rules of that double entry will apply. Are we looking at something like that, similar to that in the coming year? So that
Yes, please.
okay, okay. Please, if that
So
can be
so
done.
so part of the things that are working on in the coming year, which of course that's the next section after answering one question,
Okay.
it's tie and four eyes. So
Okay.
I'll be explaining this. So I just need one person. I just need to answer one person. I think I have about five people who want to ask their question.
Okay.
Kamzi, please, if you are free, please ask your question.
Sir, please, can you really talk about the loan?
Come again.
Can you really talk about in the new WBL loans and a little bit about the loans and how the debit mandates functions, because it will, for somebody like us who give out loans, most of our jobs are more or less on loans, and how we can be able to, most of our customers these days are very funny. Okay, so and how is there a space on the app that can allow the customer, we can start up like assuming 5,000, like we have so many loan apps like the ones like Fair Money and some others. Does it function in that?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Do you understand my question?
Yes, I do. Okay, so I think I say after this meeting, you may likely need to engage us to give you video for loan eligibility. So loan eligibility will handle your request to determine how much a customer is qualified or part time. Which of course that's what the loan organization do today. Once you register, possibly you are even qualified for 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. But of course, the more you use the app, the more you qualify for. So okay, I'll be ending this section of questions and answer.
Hello, I can't hear anything from my end. I don't know whether it is from my end. Or hello.
Same here, I can't hear anything.
Oh, so sorry about that. Okay, so we have a function of loan eligibility, which will guide you on how to set it up after this section. So we'll be moving to the last section, and that will be all for this meeting today.
Can I
So
ask my question, please?
yes, please go ahead, ask your question.
Sorry, I didn't know I could ask question, and I was just raising my hand both online and offline. All right,
Oh, so
thank
sorry
you,
about
Mr.
that.
Shema. My question is simple. I think through the questions you've answered, there's no need for me to ask some other questions, but I have a unique case. Like the last speaker said, our business is mainly on loans, and most times our loan customers are very, very funny. They don't want to pay their loans. This direct debit, how do we begin to enforce it? That's number one. The number two question is this. Branch number one, actually, we are gradually moving into your WBL now. What we did with WBL is that we created two accounts. So they use one account to manage one branch, and then use another account to manage the second branch. But now that we are moving into WBL, because of costs, I'm thinking we may not be able to do it exactly that way. Or assuming we also decide to do it, the application that you just built for us, how do we bring customers from the other branch into the app? I don't know if you get the question.
Okay. Basically, today for you to maintain two accounts with us with one app, the both customer of the two branches can log in with one app, right? That is very much possible. But the registration must happen in one account. So it's either you want the registration to go to the headquarter, but every registration must happen in one for now. But of course, we can look at possibility on how to use how to connect one app to two accounts. But of course, we do not have that infrastructure right now. But okay, let me open the floor for Savior if you can advise, Mr. Savior.
Yes, Shema.
Okay, so basically, he wants to ask, you want to have two accounts in wired banking. Is it possible for the customer to be able to select which of the accounts the customer will be linked to?
The branches, which of the branch?
Okay, is it branch or you want to have two accounts?
It's a separate account. If it is a branch, we don't have any issues. We can of course we
It's
can.
a separate account. You are correct. Separate account. Yes.
It's a separate account.
Can implement
Let's say
it.
separate company, but of course it's one company. But of course they register twice, and they want their customers to be able to register to be able to determine whether they want to register on company one or company two. But all of them are under one organization. So
Yes.
please advise so that we move to the next section.
Yeah, we can implement it.
Okay, so it has been confirmed. It's very much possible for us to implement that to allow your customer determine which of the branch that they can register.
Sir, please,
Okay.
sir, the challenge I have with this matter is that I'm having a similar problem with this. I'm having WBL, I'm having WBA. Now I moved my customers from WBA to my WBL. Now the challenge I'm having, some of the customers are internal customers. They register as internal, but they want to on the WBL they want to be virtual customers, and
Okay,
it is giving me issues.
okay,
I don't know if you
thank.
can use this video to just kill the two to kill one stone and kill two birds.
Okay, we are working on. So account migration will give you virtual and from virtual to internal. So if the account is internal, you don't need to delete it and register it afresh. You just request for a virtual account, and a virtual account will be assigned to that particular customer. Hope that answer your question. Okay, so that will be all on this section.
How do you request? How do you request?
Come again.
You said one would just request. How do you
Yes, on the
request?
coming year, in the coming year, we have not added the future years, but in the coming year, we'll add it.
Okay, okay.
All right, all right, all right.
Okay, so that is it on this regard. So I'll just read out some of the features that will be adding in the coming year that you expect outside the reporting. Then, of course, if you have any tools or any future that you're expecting that is not among what I'm going to be listing out, then of course feel free to impute it. Mr. Savior is here to take note of all that and for us to get it handy. Uh, Done before the coming year. This is the last section, and of course we'll have this meeting done. So of course, first of the thing that we'll be doing is 4 eyes, right? So 4 eyes is a tools that allow your staff to operate within a certain limit, right? So you are going to be creating a category of your staff. So as you are adding your staff, you select which category, whether they are category A, category B. So of course you are the one to create the category. So what is the category? Category is it's an ability to allow you register to say, okay, junior staff one. So if junior staff one, how much is the maximum amount they can deposit? How much is the maximum amount they can withdraw? So of course, if you set that, once a customer approach that particular staff to carry out that operation, and if it's above their 4 eyes permission, if it's above the limit that you set on their rule, they will not be able to carry out that operation. Another person had to enter, another higher staff with higher permission had to enter his PIN to accomplish that transaction. That simply means if it is 1 billion naira, the transaction will not go through. Another staff had to enter his PIN or password to be able to complete that transaction at that time. So there is two people that actually complete that transaction, not one person on a certain. All right. So of course, on the coming year, we'll be adding account type because of the CBN regulatory issues, right? We'll be adding account type. It will no longer be just based on the account product anymore. You can create account type to say if you register new, you are on Taiwan. Taiwan, the maximum you can accept is 50,000. You are the one to sell it or 20,000 naira. So once your balance is about 20,000, you need to provide some certain document for you to upgrade. But of course, we will not make that compulsory. All this will be managed by you, right? So you are the one to set all those rules. So of course, if customer just register is in Taiwan and possibly he wants to use the account for fraud, he received 1 billion naira. Of course, the account will not allow him to carry out any operation anymore. He has to upgrade. At that point of upgrading, hence the system have locked him. Hence the transaction will not be processed because it's in Taiwan account. He had to provide that document. So towards that, you are able to indicate the challenge, right? So you can able to move customer from Taiwan, Tai 2, Tai 3, and the customs tile of all limited. So you are the one to create all the ties and to set the limit that you want to be on each of the tie of your customer to mitigate how much can be going out. So you may likely not be able to make use of your general setting to set the minimum amount and the maximum amount, which apply to everybody. So you have every customer will be serviced based on the tie that they are per time. Another thing we're also working out for is ability for you to switch or change customer savings products. So you'll be able to say you register under online savings, and I want to move it right now to savings and loan account. So I'll be able to switch him over, right? And also on the coming year, we are actually looking for ability for the customer themselves to be able to carry out operation irrespective of the channels which they decide to do. Both of them will be synchronized into one effect. And of course, in the coming year, we'll be routing up with our top partner, which is Asset Metrics MFB. So this simply means every account in wired banking will automatically be assigned to Asset Metrics. So what does this mean? So whether it's an internal account or not an internal account, as long as the customer is in the database of wired banking, if you don't know the bank that particular account is belongs to, you can just select Asset Metrics MFB and you'll be able to make payments. Hence, we are the one powering them today, right? So here are some of the roadmap features which we will be adding up in wired bank in the coming year. So feel free in this last section to let us know the expected future that you are expecting. And of course, our team are here to document that done for you. So please, we would like to take at least 5 people, and that will be all. We've exceeded our time already.
Okay.
Hello.
All right. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for the futures that we are expecting. Um, Let me start this way. First, we have at the background maybe the banking tools. We are seeing things like mobile money. So I don't know whether that is coming up on the app, so that
So
customer
so
want to log.
so basically everything that you are seeing in the screen, all of them are live today. WhatsApp banking is very much live. So if you want it activated, you can activate it by yourself. USSD is live, mobile app is live, web application, I think it's 90%. In the coming year it will be live. The responsible person for that is Rabi, is the one handling the web application, USSD and WhatsApp banking.
Yes. Well, I'm talking of mobile money. Mobile money.
Okay, so when you talk about mobile money is just is just a transfer gateway, right?
Yes.
But mostly it's mostly called mobile money in Nigeria. Mobile money is mostly referred to OPay, GTEL, and their kind, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
I will in outside Nigeria they are referred to MTN, Glow,
Yes. Yeah.
and Etisalat, right?
And
So
maybe you may need to get my question so that you can answer adequately on that.
okay,
I want to believe that we all understand the mobile money techniques, both in Nigeria and outside the country, for some of us that have gone there. And I
go
think it's
ahead.
a good selling point for most of us. So, are we going to be seeing this feature uploaded on our app so that as our clients log into the app, they should be able to see in that transfer, like where we see transfers now? Will they be able to perform such transactions? That is
Yeah,
one on that.
okay.
Secondly, I also saw e-commerce on the platform when I logged in again. So I needed also to understand the implication of that e-commerce, how we can also take advantage of it. Does it mean
Okay,
that
it's
it's going
it.
to be
Okay,
like a pay stack that we have in Stanley? I don't know, but I needed to also understand about that one also.
okay,
Then
okay. I think
the bet app also, which we have there, we want to know how active it is now. I remember the last time talking with one of you. I think I didn't get a clear answer as to whether it's operational or not. So for me, these are some of the issues. Basically, all what we see at the back end when we log in as administrators, at least basic features should come up to our app rather than them transferring, buying the charge card and all this. So I'm just looking at some of these things. Thank you, sir.
okay. So if you are talking about mobile money is
Hello, Mr.
ability for you
Chairman.
to
Please
trans.
just allow me 1 minute to say something, please.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, concerning this eligibility for a customer who can kind of apply on a loan through the app, I think it should be effected such that if I put a limit of 2,000 naira before a customer can apply, let it applies. Somebody who just registered and he has not made has not made any payment into his account is being able to apply for a loan, which is not proper. Then secondly, how is this new CBN withdrawal limit of whatever 100,000 a week going to affect us as part of this scheme? How is it going to affect us? And the issue of transfer, I want a situation whereby we can be tagging our customers when we are trying to make transfer for them, so that the transfer will automatically be taken from their account instead of we going to the account to remove the money. Thank you.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay, so going back to the first question about mobile money and e-commerce. So mobile money is just ability for you to transfer outside Nigeria, like Ghana, Uganda, Zambia, and their kinds. So those are a set of organizations or countries rather that support more of mobile money. They don't have more banks. They have mobile money rather than banks in most of all these countries. And so, if you actually want your customers to be able to carry out these operations, it's very much possible for your customer to carry out a mobile money transaction. So, I think you can engage us on that regard. If you want it activated on your own app, right? Then
Okay, thank you,
we
sir.
yeah, so then we get that activated on the betting. The betting, we're actually having much decline transaction on it. That's why it's deactivated. But of course, in the coming year, we are working at another APIs to stabilize that operation, because most of the thing, if there is more volume of failed transaction, we try our possible means to switch. Just like earlier on, we're having high rate of failed transaction because of our past partner. We just had to work out another possibility of leaving that bank, and of course switch to Kuda. And gladly today Kuda decided to increase their pricing, but of course we still maintain them, hence they have a high level of transfer. Of course, possibly what we just changed is the transfer fee, but we still maintain them for now, pending on when we have a stable bank that we can rely on for bank transfer. So to me, I think it's better for us to have a transfer route that can easily, or that will always have a high rate of success transaction and failed transaction, and reverse in most cases. If it fail, reverse is the case. And we have to, in most cases we just have to settle you once we confirm from the bank. Before we have to wait for them for a couple of days for them to reverse it. That's kind of headache for us. But of course, that's why we stay with Kuda, and for the couple of months we stay with Kuda, at least we have not had that rate of failed transaction, at least 1%. So far so good. Okay, so coming back to the eligibility that you're talking about, Xavier, please take note of this adjustment. If a customer just registered, they are eligible for a loan, which is not correct, and the customer must follow the algorithm which the organization sets. So please take notes of that, and we get it done. Okay, so go ahead.
Please, I want to talk, please.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Chidi. Go ahead.
I want to appreciate Wired Banking for what they are doing. I'm actually a new partner. I'm the MD of Flash Cash. Flash Cash is an agency banking company. So we have chain of POS outlets in Uyo, and we are really doing good in that. So recently, we had a meeting in my business, and we wanted adding a service called Flash Save. It's going to be a digital shelf collection service where we have marketers go to markets, get daily savings from our customers. But I'm yet to understand the system and the infrastructure of wired banking and how I'll be able to utilize that in my business. Although I think I've listened to your how do I call it, the line of your product, but I think I need more explanation on how I can implement these services into my company, sir. That's my concern, sir.
Okay. I think after this call, you can engage us. Every of the services which you are seeing on the screen is currently live and working fine. So we just guide you. You can chat us on WhatsApp rather, and we'll advise you on the appropriate method or means for you to activate, whether either it's USSD, WhatsApp banking, and so on. And also be advised that the future for your customers to pick up cash, staff rather to pick up cash from a customer and post per day or per week, you have to determine all that. We have all the features handy. We have tools that have the ability to take any amount. We also have the tools that have the ability to take a specific amount. So whichever tools you think, which of course will be presenting to you that work for you, we'll just guide you thoroughly or share the video on that tools, so you'll be able to use same.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. So let's have like about three, so that we could end up this. It's about 5 already.
Good evening. Please, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, please. Ask your question.
For a while now, I've been having issues with credit to my clients, and it's always giving me error code.
Okay, so
And I've tried it on various browsers and it's still the same thing. What should I do? How do you
okay, so
correct that?
we recommend you to use another device. Once the case is not on all devices. Let's say, for example, it works on system, does not work on your phone. The concern is actually from your phone. But if the case be that it does not work in neither phone or or on the system or any device at all, then you know the case is from wired banking. So we advise first thing you need to do is to try it in your system or take any other phone to try same. So of course, if it works in any other device but it does not work on your specific device, then what you want to do, which you recommend, is clearing your cache, or of course downloading
I
a
know
new
that.
browser.
I have
Thank you.
cleared my cache. I have cleared all my data browser. I have downloaded various browsers today, various browsers, and tried them on all the browsers I downloaded.
Okay,
And it
please
was still
confirm, is it working on system but it's not working on your phone, or it's not working on the system?
not working on system. It's not working on my phone.
It's not working on your system, it's not working on your phone.
No,
Okay, please engage Mr. Savior after the
I don't know
call.
Mr. Savior.
Please, you are added in the group. So just check for the admins. You see the person with the name Savior, I think number 2. Just chat him up in the group where you are adding. On the wire banking group you are adding. So you see the person with the name Savior. So you can chat him up with a screenshot of your
Okay,
concern,
sir.
and it will be traced to resolve for you. Okay, Paisley,
All right.
let's
You talked about
have.
features. You talked about features we can add up, right?
Yeah,
Eh?
so just basically this section is just for feature you are expecting.
Yes.
Basically, we are actually done with
Okay. What
review, so
what
basically for features that
what about
you are expecting.
I'm considering. Do we have any plans for credit cards?
That has been addressed already. So
Credit cards.
it's the
okay?
same thing with ATM
Okay.
card. That has been addressed. The document regarding that will be shared on the platform to let you
All
know
right. Okay.
the amount for you to get. Okay, please let's have other questions. Let's
Yeah,
have
hello, good
other
evening.
requests for things
Hello,
that you are
hello,
expecting in
please.
the
You said
coming
I
year.
should chat on Mr. Savior, but there's nobody with the name Savior indicated here.
Savior will reach out to you.
Please kindly do. Please, it's very urgent.
Okay, Savior, please engage her.
Okay. How
Yeah,
do I trace you?
hello.
Okay, I will share
Okay.
her
Hi on
contact.
the
I'll share
WhatsApp
her
group so that
contact.
I'll know
Okay.
your number so that I can private chat you.
Okay, so you can just private chat who is talking right now. Share your phone number with, and he will take it off from there to understand why your browser is not working. So we're able to advise you. Has any other, there's no one experienced such case, but just you. Okay, so Paisley, please go ahead.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Aaron. I'm the CEO of Payslick. Yeah, I wanted to also suggest to Adam because I don't know if you guys know about Barter by Flutterwave. You know, they do international payment. Like if you want to send money from US, from UK to Nigeria, you can just log in and then pay with your credit card, and then the person will receive the money in their Nigeria account. So I don't know if the feature like that is being, if your guys are working in a feature like that, whereby if somebody, because we are big international, so I have some customers whereby because we are into money sending, we collect money from customers and we send to their Naira account. So if a feature like that can be added whereby they want to send the money to their account in Nigeria, all they just need to do is to fill in their details of their account in Nigeria, and it will refer them to a place where they can make payment with their credit card. And once they make payment with their credit card, it will deduct from their account and credit our dollar account. Then we cannot pay them in Naira. So I don't know if you guys can work on a feature like that because it will be very, very good. So
Okay,
it can either
yes,
be it can either be with
we
future wave, but it's going to be in dollar because we are receiving the money in dollar as they are paying with their card, overseas card. So they are deducting their money in dollar and crediting us in dollar. Then we will pay them in Naira with our own conversion rate.
Okay, yeah, is very very much possible. So of course,
Yeah,
if like you said, the currency is one, it just for them to
yeah,
pay, irrespective of the country, they pay
yeah.
in
Irrespective of the country. Yeah, they
yes, so
just
they
make
pay in
everything attached.
USD, and yes, you
Yeah,
want the settlement to be in Nigeria. Of course, we
yes,
support
in naira.
barter today. I think we have it integrated already. So if you
Okay,
want that, you can engage Nandom on the group. So he to get that activated for your account.
okay. I would like that, please.
Yeah, so you can engage Mr. Nandom on that
Nandom,
regard. So please, yes, please.
Nandom. Okay.
Okay, so let's have any other. What do you expect? What are you expecting from us in wire banking? I think that's just the basic thing we want to pick, and that's all. The meeting is
Okay,
done already. Yeah, please go
can I
ahead.
ask is it possible for the USSD enabled for customers to register and open account using
We
the
already
code?
have that feature already.
Okay, but it's not working on my own.
Yeah, it's working. So except you have not subscribed to share string, except you are using free USSD code, so that will not work. The free USSD code is a
Okay.
general code that work across every organization using wired banking. For your customer to be able to register, go to your dashboard. There is a place that says generate USSD string. You hit on it.
Yes, I've
You'll
done
be
that
charged.
before. Which charged me. Yes, it charged. I've done that before. So
Okay,
that
so
means
yeah. So if you've done that before, ensure that the number is not registered on wired banking, right? So if the number is registered on wired banking, it will definitely not allow you to register again. So if you want to test that feature, the basic thing you want to do is to disable the first number that you've registered that you're trying to register with newly. Go to the profile. Possibly you can put underscore, right? Once the
yeah,
number is no longer
I
recognized
know
on the
how to do
system.
that. Yes,
But
and then
if you are still
the
engaging issue,
USSD you are talking about is it one that has seven three? Will I say three batches? 7006 star, then 80 star, another one.
yes,
Three.
please.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, so
all right.
if the number is not registered at all on the system, once you
Yeah.
dial it, you then say welcome to your own organization name. Please enter your name. Please enter your
Okay.
second name and so on. But if you're having any issue, please engage Mr. Rabi.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, so any other person that's expecting any features in wire banking? Okay, so
Hello.
accept of that, we'll be
Hello.
ending up.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. Sorry, just a brief one.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Credit
I would
registry.
appreciate also that this meeting, like we say, if we can share some of the minutes or the recording with us. But what I'm trying to say basically is some of these futures is a learning process for all of us in this business. And I think the major thing is if we grow better, where banking grows better. So some of the futures I know may be that other people may not know, and the one they know, I may not know it. I'm of the opinion or of the view that any of these futures that we see that they are good, that we have shared among ourselves in this group, if we are implementing it, let us route it to all of us so that we can all grow on it.
Okay, so
That's just my point.
yeah,
For instance,
so
like I talked
basically,
about betting or I talk about this, if we are uploading it on our apps, let it go all around our apps because we are all managed by you.
okay, thank you for your review, but unfortunately that will not work.
Okay,
Reason being that some customers are Muslim organization which do not support betting. So
okay,
betting is prohibited in their religion. So you cannot ask them that you must add a betting, right? So that will not work. So we
okay,
basically work with what you want for your organization. So if you
okay,
said I only want bank transfers, airtime and data, we make that available for you. Just like
okay,
someone I just said I want international transfer, it's very much possible. It's a custom
okay,
feature which will be added to you, which will not also be on other people's
okay, fine.
features, right?
So if I get you right, is anything we see from the back end and we want, we simply say add it on my own app.
Exactly. So if it's a paid picture, we let you know, okay, there's a cost to implement this, hence we do not have it, right? But everything you see on the back end is very much possible to have it on your app.
Can I say something, please?
Go ahead, please.
Okay, Shema, thank you so much once again. Sorry, I had to drive. I have to quickly rush home. Number one, just two questions. But number one, when are you actually deprecating WBA?
In
We
the coming year, and the expected time is April. The expected time is April.
we are still gradually migrating to WBL, and it will require deprecating in January. In fact, as we speak, we still have loans in that WBA that will terminate in February ending, and our major
No, no,
business is loans. When are
you
you
you you, you still have
deprecating
about 4
BA?
months to for us to duplicate it. It's still active right now. The notice is
Yes,
for
I
four
know.
months. Mm. Go ahead,
Okay,
please.
I thought it was. No, I thought
No, it's
I
not.
heard January. I
No,
thought
no, no,
I
it's not
read
for January.
January.
April. You have about 4 months.
Ah,
We'll be
All right.
deprecating it. April.
All right, all right, please. Can I just, in as we're concluding, please, I just wanted to plead with you once again. For most of us that are trying to grow, we have our network across. Like me, as I'm speaking to you now, we have our network across the 19 northern states.
Okay.
So in terms of staffing, please, you need to still look how you can increase the staffing for us, because at least you need people that you can checkmate them. So please, you need to, and we want to grow gradually, but you need people for you to work first, because manpower is one difficult thing you can handle. So we need to try them. Some doesn't last. You have to bring them in, bring them out. Some I've worked with within this time we started this area like now. I've worked with close to 20 people, and like 15 are gone. We're trying to recruit new people. So you see, and if they go like that, we need to just disengage and open a fresh staff. You understand? We have to disengage them immediately and open a fresh staff. So please, can you increase this staff? That would be a very good one, because I don't want them to be using their password, somebody else's password. If you are the one, we know you are the one, and you don't have right to give any other person your password. So you have to support us on this so that we can grow together,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Thank you on that regard, right? So basically, what we did in wired banking, light. So right. So basically, if you have a staff that is leaving, you go to the staff profile and click disable, right? Then, if you have a new staff, all you just need to go is to click on edit, change the information of that particular of the staff that have left, and update it. Once you update it, then you click on send reset password. So it's the new username and the new password that was sent that the new staff will be now be using. Is that clear enough? So you don't need to keep registering them over and over again. Once you have a staff that have left or that no longer work with you, it's very simple. Go to the staff manager, click on edit. Once you click on edit, change the information, update the information to the information of the new person, right? Then change the status to active. Then click on send reset password. The person cannot be able to log in with his own information and with the new password. Of course, once you log in, he cannot change the password to any value that he wants. But of course, if you have any specific thing that you are expecting outside this, please feel free to engage us. It's something that we are working to improve every of the tools that you see in wire banking
Credit.
today.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening. This is Mr. Bello. Well, what I'm
Okay.
expecting should be a credit registry.
Okay, so yes, on credit registry, we've actually started the implementation, but of course, what we are doing right now is to accept your account. Once the integration is done, we'll accept your account. So you'll be need to register in credit entry first, then they'll give you the API. You just come to your general settings, enter the API key, every report, every loan report your account to them that or why we are having delay in that. Once we have a central, it will show that it's wired banking that issued that loan, which is not true, right? So for the loan registry to be able to identify who is the actual person that issued this loan to this particular customer for record purpose. Perhaps the customer want to go to another place, want to check his loan history, and he's seeing wire banking, which of course that's not true. Hence, wire banking did not issue that loan to that particular customer. Hence, that's why we are making provision right now for you to provide your API key after you might have paid the fee. I think the fee is about 180,000 thereabout. Today they have two type of account, 180,000. So once you've paid, you share the API key with us, which of course I'm going to make it very much seamless this time around. All you just need to do basically is to go to your general settings. You have a few there, just like you have your XMS APIs, but just two few that answer your secret key and your public key. So once you update it, every loan that you issue hence will be reported to credit entry. And likewise, if you want to search for other people, you can likewise do same. But of course, for right now, what we can afford to do right now for everyone is for us to be able to make available for credit entry search. Hence, you'll be able to search loan, every customer, whether it's on loan or not, right? So that's what we're able to do. But for us to be able to report, for now, you have to pay credit entry. We'll be unable to do that right now for record purpose. Let me know if that helped.
Hello, hello.
Go ahead,
Thanks,
please.
thanks for the info. Can you make um the credit entry registration? As in, can you send the link to the group so we can go to that and we know we'll be making the payment? Because as
Yeah,
of now,
sure,
I'm not
sure.
really aware of credit bureau that are offering the credit entry registration.
Yeah, sure. They started it last 2 months ago. Um, it's not a problem. After this call, we'll send you the link. You can register with them. So once you register with them, you complete your registration. Then you paid for your registration fee. You can start with the trial. You can start with their free account. They have two type of accounts. The other one is higher anyway, so you can start with the trial account. I think that one has a query of about 100 query per day. I think 100 query is fine. You can start with that. You don't need to do all limit. All limit has about 350,000 registration fee, but you can start with the small one that have 100 query. 100 query simply means how many times you want to search for loan per day. I'm not sure you want to search up to 100 times. So you can start with that one. But of course, if you decide that you want to go for the higher one, it's something you can sort out with them. And that will be it. Okay, let us know if anyone has anything they're expecting.
Hello, Shima. I'm here.
Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Segun, MD of Tron Capital, and I'm in Lagos. Thank
Okay.
you for. I actually agree that this meeting is long overdue. It has been able to sort out quite a number of issues. But my concern is reports, and for support turnaround time is very good. Like I suggested the other time, probably you have a support team that are dedicated. You guys have been trying. You have really, really been trying, and I can commend you on that. You have been trying. You attend to issues and all that. But you see, in this kind of issue, you must know that customers are very impatient when it comes to their money. They are very extremely impatient. They don't want to hear one story about your application is this, is that. No. We did a transfer to a customer. The woman didn't receive her money on time. She came to the office. She almost beat us up. So I'm just trying to talk about the time frame. So if we can have a support team that their responsibility is just to attend to customers' requests, it will be very good. Then another thing is reports. The application is fantastic, is very okay, but the reports are very few. We need a lot. In this kind of application, you need reports. Reports and reports and reports. If you remember, there's a report I've requested for. That is the overdraft progress report under the Esusu management. These are reports that track the repayment of customers, especially when their report is on a daily basis. So I will really appreciate it if you can step up your report. So that we can, anything we want, just go to the report, print it out, and you can get an update, up to date response and progress report on the application. So that Isusu overdraft progress report, please, if you guys can just help me. I don't know if but I think that it will go a long way to help us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, please understand that Wild Bank you have about 10 staff, but I don't know why a lot of you direct your query mostly to me, right? So for dedicated staff that you refer to, please engage Blessing. She's also added in the group. If you have anything,
Blessing,
and
right?
yes, engage Blessing. So
Okay,
it's you
please
must
let
not
her know
actually
that you
engage me.
I really don't know. I've been talking to you as usual. So if we
Exactly.
have
Send a number to the group.
Okay, okay, so yeah, so basically on that regard, if you have anything, you can engage her on that regard. So regarding the report, I've referred on this earlier on. I said on the coming year, you have a lot of reports. The main reason why we are actually slow in reports because to avoid double work. Because if we are actually rushing it the way it is, we will not have an accurate value. Just like the experience we have in wired banking, where the report is not even accurate, even though it's there, right? So the main thing I want to make sure that every tools you need is actually in place. Which of course that's the main reason why you see we added expenses management, like I rephrased. Of course, if you want to check your profit and loss, you need to check how much have you made and how much have you spent, right? So for you to be able to even come up with expenses management, so we're actually in line of it, but we have about two things that I want to add to be able to sum up or to be able to give us that accurate value of what the real or the actual profit and loss looks like, and also the actual what balance sheet looks like. And of course, we have 10 reports. Remember, like I stated, we have 10 reports which we must add. It's a must, but of course, we have to set up the primary tools first before and trying to add up most of the management reports for accuracy. So, but the rest assured is something we must add. Okay, so
all right,
let's see if you can
Mr.
add two
Chima.
people. If you can
now my
add two
report.
people and we are good.
Hello, Mr. Chima.
Yes, please
My
just
name
let us
Hello,
know
Mr.
what the
Chama.
thing
As
you are
part of
expecting in the
expectation next
coming
year,
year.
please, 1 minute.
my name is Emmanuel Bashiri from Oyo State. So I spoke with you concerning the ATM statement. So if we can
Your line is actually breaking.
have for customers, customers have the ATM, those people that have ATM
Can
on
I
their
go on
account,
with
we
the
should be able to
expectation for
view the
next year?
transaction histories of their account so that we be able. Hello?
Okay, thank you. I think I understand where your question is routing to. So at the moment, why the ATM history is not available right now is because the bank said they don't have that APIs. But of course, we have persisted. So last month, they promised to make it available in the coming year for us. Okay, so in the coming year, it's one part of the thing which you will be expecting, the history of each of the card, right? So it's something that we've already engaged our bank and they promised to look into. So in the coming year, it's something that must definitely be added in the wired banking update. Okay, so let's have two people so that we end this section. I will fast spent already. Thank you all for your patience.
Hello, Mr. Chama. Can
Yeah,
I
go
go on,
ahead,
please?
please.
Okay, I please the number of history on the app once you transact any make any transaction is not more than 10. It should be increased. It should be increased, and if possible, they should make sure that the date should be included, so that if you want to get the history for a particular date, then you can get it.
Okay.
Then secondly, once you kind of process a loan, let the system just give a document that contains maybe the loan is for 12 weeks, is for and 1% charges for this and that. Everything should be on a document that you can print out and give to the person who is actually applying for the loan, instead of you downloading a particular document and begin to type the name of the person and this, that. This is what I want
Oh,
to add.
okay. I think I understand where your narration is going. Okay, we already have that in wired banking. I believe what we all know, we already have. Okay, we'll make the printout for loan that can contain the repayment and of course the letter that indicate that you issue out loan to that person. Of course, something that we can do in the coming in the coming year. So on the report thing that you say is limited by 10, I think a lot of them have actually been adjusted to be all limited. So I will appreciate if you can be specific on which of the reports that you are referring to. But of course, statement today is no longer limited by 10. If you search for 1 month, is the whole 1 month it will drop for you today. Call over, same thing. So you can possibly be specific on which of the reports that you are referring to that is limited by 10. Of course, we can use
On
search
the
for the.
app, if you want to check a receipt, of what you have done, probably once you have done it for about maybe you have transacted maybe about 15 transactions, you discover that you will not be able to get all these 15 transactions. That's what I'm saying on the app, on the lower app.
Okay, on the low app. Okay, now I get. Okay, Mr. Savior, please take note of this. On the low app build option where they are able to search for the specific dates that they want. So if they want to search for 1 month, you should give them data for 1 month all through straight.
Hello,
Okay,
Shima.
go ahead. Let's
Can I
know
make
if
a
anyone
request
have
on
any
behalf of
question. Let's take two more and we end this section. Two more.
Okay, please, I want to make a request on behalf of all of us. Somebody actually talked about this earlier on, and that's the number of user and branch. Can you please increase the number of users to 6? 4 is a good one, or 6 will actually be better, and it will be the interest for everybody. And it will enhance the usage of the application really. If everybody, marketers, account staff, and the admin, they are on it. So if you can increase it to 6, please, it will really be of very great help to all of us.
Okay, so on the request, we will talk within our management to see the best way. Hence, why the limitations because of the operating fee for us is actually high. If you're actually on the beginning of this section, so you understand a lot of things which we are actually bearing that is not even favorable. As it start right now, wire banking is not actually making any profit from its merchants, but a lot of people will not understand. So that's why we have to just open up and even show some of the pricing, some of the amount they're even charging us, which is out of place, and and all that. But of course, it's something that we are working closely to see how we can minimize the the fee for everyone, and of course to increase the permission. But it's not a problem. It's
And
not something that's impossible. It's something that will be worked into in the coming year also.
seriously, we really appreciate that. And one more thing I just remembered. Another thing is that when a customer does a transfer to their virtual account, of course, it's there in the application. There's a fee of 250 naira that is charged. I don't know what you can do about that to help because customers are complaining, and that's why most of them are not using virtual account. I've done it. Sometimes we transfer to our own account, and each time we transfer, they are debited 250,000 naira per transaction. Seriously,
Okay,
I
please.
think that
Okay,
is
please
bad.
note that we do not charge customer. We only charge you as a company. It's you that are decide to charge your customer that value. So if you want to modify the amount of the charge that you want to charge your customer, please go to your general settings. You'll see under advanced, you'll see interbank transfer deposit settings. Then you can reduce it if you want to make a flat 15 naira all through. So each time your customer transfer, it's 15 naira flat that the system will charge them. So we basically
No. What
charge
I'm
you.
saying is that when a customer transfer into the wired banking application, you mean
It's
we
the
are the
same
ones
thing we
that
are saying.
that is being charged?
We don't charge customer today. We only charge you as the business owner.
Okay, so how much do you charge me? Because 250,000 is being debited.
Okay, what we are charging you today is 1% cap at 250, which we will likely not continue because all the bank have increased their pricing. You are not on the section. You are not on this section. Like Kuda, if you look at your screen closely, that I'm showing this. Kuda have increased their fee to 0.7, cap at 1,000. So we cannot be giving it in 250. Why the bank is charging us at 1,000 right now as it stands right now?
Okay.
And the first people we are using is Monify. That's why you always see Monify attached to the name. Monify to have increased to 1% cap at 1,000.
That is
Kuda Bank
1% of the
have
amount that
increased. If you look at it, we've received the mail and they've
is
updated it on
deposited
their
on the wire
website.
banking.
So you can see cap at 1,000, and we cannot continue charging cap at 250 in the coming year. So what we now decide to do is to give you the ability right now to select the bank that you want. So if it's Kuda you just want to maintain, we give you the documents that you fill. We connect you with Kuda accounts directly. So your settlement will no longer pass through wire banking, right? So if you need your money, you just go to the Kuda account to access your money. So that way, that way it will even be more expensive because Kuda will be charging you 1% cap at 1,000, which of course, like right now, you are even raising a concern that 250 is even higher, and they are killing us here. So what do you want us to now complain? I don't know whether you understand the position we are right now.
I do. I appreciate. I understand. Really, I'm just trying to look at it because customers, and that's why some of them are not really using their position
Yeah.
because for being
Yeah.
debited, the customer.
Yeah, so the maintenance is stand right now, as long as you don't have CBN license and the gateway is not your own, you don't have a say to it. Almost all the banks, they are adding pricing. Now they've just heard that CBN changed the rule. There will be a transaction, there will be a massive transaction online from January. All of that is just last week that Kuda sent us a mail of the price increase, which of course is the same thing they've updated on their website. So of course, so it's not something we want to bear. We cannot be
So,
giving you 250, and we cannot still charge you. If right now, even you right now, you are raising concern for 250. Now the bank is raising it to 1,000. What do you even want us to charge you? Do you want us to charge you 1% now, cap at 1,000 naira, which of course is very discouraging.
yes, I understand.
Okay, sir. So, sir, sorry, I want to also quickly let's round up on this POS. I know that you say in the coming year you are speaking to a vendor. For me personally, I've made some set of orders for POS that should be coming any moment, so maybe from next week or so.
Okay,
So,
please understand, wire banking does not connect POS or provide a, SD key for POS. The only thing we do is
Yes,
to send it to our partner. Our partner, they are the one to configure it. If you listen to what we said earlier from the beginning, they are the one to configure everything, right, and ship to us. The only thing that wire banking do for you now is the connection of the API for our system to recognize when payment is collected and to be able to help you track it where the payment is.
okay.
Yeah,
So
so
if
basically,
I
so we
if
we
I
don't
will
we don't
get it
have all those powers.
right now, it
Just
means
like Kudana is telling 1,000, so we don't have that power now to start telling Kuda no. If we don't want, then we just have to remove them from the list of our bank, or for Wema Bank, we just remove them. Of course, we can't remove them, but the only thing that we can do
so. Are we holding
is
on the POS issue now?
we are not holding on. The only thing right now, we are connecting you with the provider directly. So any discussion you want to do
Okay.
right now, you do it with the provider. That's the new infrastructure which we are putting in place. So you likely do not need to discuss anything regarding
What
pricing
now
or
happens to
operation
the
in the
rest of
meeting.
my customers who are now using Providence Bank, Wema Bank, and let's say Kuda Bank? If I am being limited to one other bank now, what will now happen to all those other customers who are now using the other bank?
No, no, no. You can still continue using wired banking, right? We are not shutting down our service, but of course we may likely increase our fee since the bank right now is increasing its fee. That's simply what it means. But we are creating another option for businesses who are consigned. Every account number has a tag of wired banking. For businesses who are now consigned to say, I don't want wire banking, I want rather my name. Possibly, let's say city first slash your customer's name instead of wired banking. Right now is because it's our central account. That's why we cannot change it or remove that wired banking that is there. The bank will not even allow us to do that, right? It's only GT that allows. So that's why we not even bother putting it there, right? Yeah, so for business who are consigned, also for their customer, for their name, then slash their customer's name. That's where it now apply. But for cost, but instead of you start integrating directly or newly to the bank, since it's the same price, you can still continue with wire banking. But of course, if you now decide that you want to connect to the bank directly, it's not a problem for us at all. In the coming year, we'll support the both option, and your account, the both settlements will still be on wire banking, so none of it will be affected. I
Is
hope
that
that's
at a
clear.
fee? Is that at a fee, or is just part of services to improve our marketing?
Come again.
Is that at a fee, linking us to them, especially to promote our name? Is it at a fee, or is
At
still part of your service as
at
our parent company?
at, at the moment, it's not at a fee. At the moment,
Okay.
once it's implemented, just like we have SMS gateway, you go to your general settings, select SMS gateway, provide your API key to and save, and of course the SMS settings will change automatically and start sending with your own gateway instead of wire bank. So the same thing applies. So if you register with Kuda, go to your settings. As long as it's available at that time, you are not making requests. Understand where fee apply. When fee is applying wire banking is if the future is not there, you're asking us to abandon what we are doing and integrate that
Okay.
with you. That's where the
Okay.
future will the way that's where a fee will apply. But of course, if it's something that is already in wire banking, you don't pay extra fee.
Okay.
Okay, so just answer one question. That will be all for now. Please, let's have one person that answer the question. That will share what they expect in wired banking, and that will all. This will be the last person we will be taking on this section. Now,
Good evening.
yeah. Good evening.
Thank you very much. I've been able to follow through all the meeting from the beginning to this moment. I really, really, really want to commend you and your team for a job well done so far, and your response has been excellent. So, about what I expect in the coming year, and so far so good. My comment on the meeting is number one, the database. I expect that, for instance, if I want to short out of wired banking, my database can be with me at any point in time whenever I am exiting business with wire banking. Though I'm not saying I want to do that, as long as long as you keep doing this good work you are doing, I'm expected to stay. But in case, I just want to have that assurance of the database security. Then, in terms of group posting, like group disbursement, group loan, and all of that, that was previously in WBA. I expect that to be in place by next year. Then most of my staff have issues with the iOS, the usage of iOS browser. Whenever they use iOS browser to post their work, either repayment or whatever, there are issues concerning it, especially when it goes to savings. It will open the website, but when it goes to say, let me paste in savings, let me credit savings, let me credit this, it will just be showing uh, errors. And I noticed that it's only staff that are using Apple phones, Apple devices that have this issue. Then,
Okay, 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 okay. I think I understand where the issue is coming in now. No, go ahead.
all right. Then concerning airtime top up, I would love to see a feature whereby I can mass top up uh, phone numbers. Let's say, for instance, I have 20 phone numbers and I want to credit to 200 naira. Then I should be able to do that instead of doing it one at a time. So please, that feature I think is very much important. Then in terms of branch upgrade, please, I think like you said, the custom settings. Probably, for instance, I already have 20 staffs, and I do not need additional staff. Or what I need is additional branch. I should be able to request for only additional branch, not staff upgrade. So your subscription, plans should be, I don't know, maybe there's a way it can be flexible that okay, uh, each branch upgrade should be at this fee, then each users upgrade should be at this fee, and so on and so forth. So I'm expecting that to be more flexible than the way it is because sometimes we just upgrade to a branch of let's say 10, and we are using only six out of the branches, and it's because we do not have an option of choosing six. That's why we upgraded to 10. Um, then staff username, what like you said we should edit staff profile to that point whereby maybe a staff is disengaged. Then when we edit the staff profile, we get the whole thing edited. But one thing I noticed is that when you edit, you may not be able to edit usernames. The
Okay.
username part is editable. So please, let's work on that. Then the credit registry, some of us like for instance, my organization now, we already registered with credit bureau, and I don't know, maybe there's a way we can already move ahead in terms of um, API registration and all of that. Then
Okay.
lastly,
Okay.
please, so I really understand your point of opening up in terms of transparency and accountability. But then, please, if you are saying you are leaving us into the hands of your partners or merchants, and let's go and deal with them directly because you don't want problem, you don't want queries and all of that, or probably you don't want us to be seeing you as charging us extra or something. I think some of us, like the man said earlier, some of us are in the learning process. So we wouldn't want to just be vulnerable in the hands of all of these people. So, I think the way you have been guiding us through should continue, irrespective of the fee that is attached. If it is business, if you are selling something for me 1 2 and it's attainable in the market, and I can sell at 1 3 1 4, I think it's a good thing. It's a good shot for me. So please, don't leave us hanging. Try as much as possible. If possible, like you said, make it a true option. Like, okay, wire banking is providing it, and at the same time, there's an option if you think you cannot trust wire banking, then go directly to our partners and we provide the gateway. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much for the input. So of course, just like you mentioned earlier, we are not leaving any of them, but of course, we are just saying for some of them who are not comfortable with our charges, all the starting we just do is to link you up with the bank. But of course, we'll try our possible best not to even cap it at the 1,000 that the bank is throwing at us. We'll try our possible best, like we continually do. We'll not cap it at the 1,000. So, of course, if you now decide that you want to engage the bank to cap it at 1,000, we'll no longer bear the cost anymore. Because right now we are bearing some of the fee, some of the cost starting from the USSD and so on. So some of the we just reduce some of them, some of the costs, we'll reduce them but not completely. We'll not move all the cost to you. Possibly, if you are bearing about 70% of the cost, we can decide to say, okay, we want to bear 40% and shift the remaining percentage to your organization. But of course, you have to build an infrastructure that will guide your customer. And the coming year is it's actually going to be massive, right? It's actually going to be massive. There will be a lot of there will be a lot of transaction, there will be a lot of earnings, but just for you to build an infrastructure that can work for any of us. So on the credit bureau, which of course you've talked about, and so we'll try our possible best to make multiple options where you just provide your APIs because that's what we are that's what we're actually looking at today. Provide various options so that the report will be on your name because we are trying to avoid. That's why we only add search options. So for now, you can only search but of course, if you want to report, just like you, some of you that have the account that have paid for the service already, you'll be among the people who can just get your API key and plug into wired banking, and all your reports, all your loans will be reported to the to credit bureau or credit entry or first central. So I think they have about 5 of them. So whichever one you are registered with, we'll try our possible best to report same report, but of course it will bear your name, not wired banking. All right, so thank you for everyone for joining this meeting. This will be the end. I understand that the meeting is longer than the scheduled time, but of course, trust me, it's worth it, and it's an amazing time with all of us. And I enjoy working with all of us today. I enjoy working with all of us, and I'm glad for us to even expand our reach even more in the coming year, not just for us to end the relationship here. But of course, if you are facing any difficulties at any time, feel free. Even if I'm not available, drop a message to me or engage any of our technical team or any of our support team, right? So once you go to the group, there's a lot of admins there. At least you should have about 4 or 5 admins at the same time, right? On each of the groups. So all you just need to do is to chat up any of them, let them know your concern. So if one is not available, the other person will be available. Be rest assured that every query or issue that you are experiencing, just be little patient with us. Anything you are experiencing will be resolved, right? Some of the time, if you experience a delay in response, it's possible that we are waiting for a feedback from the bank, especially for transfer. If transfer failed and we query from our end, no response. Of course, we want to hear from the bank. Once the bank confirm that it fails, what we want to do is to reverse while we wait for the bank to refund us back. We don't even wait for the bank. So that's why you see almost every first transaction is almost immediately that it's being reversed to you so that you can attend to your customer smoothly. So all your reviews are well noted, and the rest assured in the coming year is something that we must. It's not that we are going to. It's something that we must implement, and more additional tools that we are bringing in the table for you. Be rest assured that all these tools will benefit you, and even on the DNS, like we see in the coming year, we know we have displayed your name most of our product, but in the coming year we hide more of our names, and to present more of your names to your customer, and to give you ability and options for you to have punch your website. We'll actually have a lot of people that are saying, give me the website, give me the software, give me the source code, because mostly they want their customer to see the name. But of course, in the coming year, you don't need to bother yourself about all that. You can be in wired banking and point your domain name, your website into to us, and of course the flash of what's happening on wired banking still be displayed. That simply means your customer can go to your website and register, and so on. So here are the amazing things that we are putting. All we are asking is your patience and your time and your support, of course, to get all these things done and raised. Thank you once more for joining these sections. All right, so let's have a closing remark from our guys. Savior, if you are there, let's have your shout out. Nandom, you have not talked since we got started. I think your network was up and on. We have Godfrey also. Okay, let's hear your voice. Then, of course, that will be the end of these sections. Oh, okay. I think Nandom. Okay, Nandom, are you there? Okay, I think that will be all. Not to keep any of us waiting. Thank you for joining us in this session. Do have a wonderful day ahead of you and a beautiful year ahead of us. All right, bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah,
so
bye.
much.
By
So
next year
we
now,
hope
we'll
that
be
the
doing
year
Thank you.
party.
Thank you
We'll,
very much.
we'll
Bye
host
bye.
a physical party by the grace of God.
Yeah, sure.
we hope the next year will be better.
Yeah, sure.
Amen.
It will be super.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you from Grumor Resources Managers Limited. Keep doing the good work. Gradually,
Thank you,
we'll
sir.
get there. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
so much.
Thanks to you. You are blessed from Major
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Managers.
From Cofex, we say thank you. Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Thank you for joining us. Thank you. Okay, thank you, everyone.